Hey, what's up, guys? Drone B here, and I thought I'd try something a little different today. We had an RvR last night. Actually, it's still going on as of right now, and the recording of this video. And I feel like I learned a lot during this RvR, and I thought I'd do a little analysis of the whole process. So the first thing you'll notice here, the RvR just started, and every second counts during these RvRs. There's a rush to the crystal. The idea is whoever is going to capture it gets there pretty quickly. You don't have to be there first, but you have to be there before the enemy has any reinforcements there. And one thing you'll notice looking at this is there was 30 seconds before I clicked attack. That 30 seconds actually is pretty big. I should have been more prepared. I should have got it within 5 seconds. 30 is probably too much. Because look at this, guys. I'm going for this crystal, and immediately I see level 50 there. So I panic. I speed up my march. I think I went overboard in hindsight on the speed ups. I did have a pretty good troop composition. Let me rewind it a little bit and show you guys. So if I can pause this. So yeah, you want to send all your best troops, and that's what I'm doing. I'm sending my best troops, my mercs. I already have my gear equipped. It's important to do that before time starts. Equip your best gear. I'm going to send just everything good I have. I used a 10% march size boost, and it's important to send some guardians too if you know it's going to be a race for the crystal, because they're going to make the difference, and they do here. So all good. So far everything I'm doing is right. In hindsight, I should have made sure I had a guildmate on, and have your guildmate or a couple guildmates send attacks with you, but don't have them send their hero, because if they have a hero in their march, it won't reinforce. It'll be sent home once you capture it. So I rushed to the crystal. Armor pen monster's fine. You can actually make an argument to be second to the crystal, and the reason is monsters don't work once you control the crystal. They only work if you're attacking the crystal. So my monster, I lose my monster's skill, or my monster's skill buffs, because I get there first. It doesn't hurt me here, but it could have hurt me. It's possible that I would have lost this initial crystal battle, and in which case I would have felt like an idiot. But yeah, so I got hit by this level 50, and I won really probably just because there's no crowns in his march. I mean, he hit like a tank even without the crowns. So quickly, it's important. I had a couple of seconds. I could have buffed him quicker or debuffed him quicker. That was kind of a mistake. But here's the second mistake, guys. Is I'm spending this time debuffing him now. I should have got the reinforcement on the way, and I should have been making sure my guildmates were reinforcing and speeding up their march to get there, because it is important to reinforce that crystal. It's probably as important to reinforce the crystal quickly as it is to capture it like first, right? If you look here, there's other people coming for the crystal now, and there's time. We could reinforce it here. We could reinforce it, but we're not, guys. I mean, we're way too slow, and I'm out of speed ups because I'm always out of loyalty, and I'm always out of speed ups. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Another thing I could have done in hindsight, now there aren't too many uses for Dragoon Reavers. They're pretty much just for Magitech Empires, and they're quick. That's the other, you can make use of how quick they are. I could have reinforced here with Dragoon Reavers, and they're a T5 defense, so they're not going to cost me much in terms of potential troop loss. especially since I already have some Guardians in there. So I could have sent my Dragoon Reavers. That would have given me 20,000 more troops there. They would have got there quickly, within 4 minutes. That would have made a huge difference, because having a lot of troops in the crystal quickly, it's going to discourage. Solo marches, and also just give you that little extra advantage against the solo marches. Because right now it's still just my solo march versus anyone else's solo march going at the crystal. If I can get 2-3 marches in there before their solo marches hit, my odds of killing a lot more troops goes up. So, you know, big mistake here. I've been trying to think of another solution to this. You know, I guess you got to make sure you have a guildmate online and ready to reinforce if you don't have enough speed ups to do that as well. I could have been more careful with my speed ups. I probably used like 3 more speed ups than I needed to, and that 3 speed ups might have made the difference. Another thing, guys, right after I captured it, I could have sent a march of all cavalry. Cavalry is the quickest non-mercenary troop, and it's actually quicker than most mercenary troops. I could have sent a round of only T5 cavalry just to get there really quick. If I did that immediately after capturing it, or even before capturing it, just send that march on the way. That's what I should have done, guys. Before I sped up my next march, I should have immediately set a cavalry wave. I'm figuring this out as we go still. I should have immediately sent that all cavalry wave just to get there. Yeah, that would have been wise. I was thinking, floating the idea too, if you had somebody else from another guild rally the crystal, you know how in your guild it's going to say defend? I'm wondering if you can speed up other people's marches to the crystal there. I'm not positive. I'd like to test that out. You know, maybe you guys want to test that out. It'd be kind of interesting to know. So yeah, that was another thing we did, is I sent an extra march that I didn't need to send to reinforce the crystal. I could have left that open for somebody who gets there now to reinforce it. Because somebody, you know, I could have done that. I should have left about 50,000 capacity for somebody else to reinforce if they want, because somebody else might have had more speed ups. So that was another potential mistake. You know, there's so many things, and it's a time crunch, right? There's only so much time. This is all taking place within 5 minutes, right? So you can see I didn't have all my marches there. A couple were a minute out. And now we've got another, so level 50 hit me. We've got that level 40 something up top hit me. And then the level 48 hit me. And he finished off my Guardians and ate through them. He had a big march size too, with all the, you know, all the good samurai mercs. And like 100-something destroyers. So that was rough. I ended up losing a lot of good troops there. Yeah, it was a close one though, guys. Close one. So what happens here, guys, is you got to regroup. You got to try to get enough people that you can try to recapture the crystal. You could try to send some solo marches, but since I already have no speed ups, and you know and there aren't Guardians to eat through, they're just really good mercs. So I could have potentially sent a couple T5 waves, whittle them down some, but I chose to just regroup, recruit some people, and try to rally the sucker. So that's what we do here. We got to wait for our marches to get back. I can't speed them up, so I'm going to fast forward some. We recruit some people. Yeah, so here, this is probably the rally here, guys. So I recruited some people from some other guilds. And we actually don't have that many people in our guild right now with T5. We had a massive divorce on our guild. A good percentage of our people went to a different guild. And I thought about joining them, But I voted against it because being in a different guild, I figured it would give us some great chances for really good crystal battles, and that it did. So here is, let me pause this quick. Here is my rally I'm setting. I set 15 minutes typically. You could set a 30 or an hour if you need that extra time. I figured 15 minutes would be plenty. You know, because hopefully somebody has some speed ups. And for rallies, anyone in your guild can speed up your marches or anyone's marches to get to the rally boat quicker. And one thing I do, guys, that I do this round and that anyone can do is if you have farms, save up the loyalty on your farm accounts and use your farm account speed ups to get rallies, people's reinforcements to your rally quicker. Use your farms for that. Don't waste your loyalty on your main account for that if you don't have to. That's what I would recommend. I think that's the wise thing to do. Just, you know, especially if your guild doesn't have 100 members, you can have a couple farms and just join with your farms quick, speed up the marches, and then you can leave with your farms and go back. You know, as long as you're using your farms somewhat to get more loyalty, that's a pretty good strat. So yeah, I'm sending everything I got. I scouted the crystal, and they've got 90,000 guardians. And you know, real quick, let me just say this. Now, typically, I would say you don't need more than like 25,000 guardians in the crystal at one time. You know, that's Crown's guards. 25,000, or even like you could do 30 or 40,000 if you don't think you'll be on in a while. But RvRs is a little different, and the reason why, you know, you could make an argument for 90,000 guardians is once your RvR port's up, you may not be able to come back, right? Like, you've got one shot to take the crystal and to reinforce it quick, and you don't want to have to keep teleporting back to the Scar to put more guardians in there. So that's an argument for having 90,000 in there, is they don't have to teleport back in to reinforce it. So, but that's also somewhat, you know, there's pros and cons to different things. And the cons of having 90,000 guardians in this case is you know, they could have 60,000 more T6 troops or T5 troops in the crystal if they didn't, you know, if they only had 30-something thousand rather than 90,000. But you know, I can't say that they made a mistake, because at the same time I'd want more guardians than needed so I don't have to keep teleporting in to reinforce it. And if you're the one whose hero's in the crystal, you can't teleport back. You're stuck there until your troops get back. So yeah, so it's not really an error on their part. It's just the nature. You gotta find the weak points. And in this case, the weak point was how many guardians. So send all your frigates, send all your airships, and ideally you just send enough guardians that your guardians, just a couple guardians survive, and then you can reinforce with more. I estimated based on the hero gear and how many troops they had in the crystal. They had like 350,000 attacking troops in the crystal, mostly T6, some T5. So I figured, okay, with my gear, and it's going to be different for everybody, the only way to know for certain is trial and error. And this is what I've gotten really good at the last couple of weeks, is knowing about how many guardians I'm going to need for things based on my gear. So I knew I'd need 15,000 would be like the bare minimum, and ideally I'd want like 20,000. That way, if I might guess is, you know, give me some room for error, 25% more guardians than I think I'll need, just to be safe. So we try to get 20,000 guardians in our rally. You'll see here we actually end up getting 30,000, which could have hurt us. I didn't want to reset the rally. You kind of run into these things often. You request certain things, but not everybody gets the memo. And in this case, two people sent their marches to the rally at the same time, and they both sent 15k guardians, so that's why we had more than we needed. But all good. You know, no problem. 30,000 isn't, it's not too much, right? Like, yeah, it's not too much. We can work with that. So, yeah, so prioritize once you get enough crowns that you think you'll need. In this case, I figured 20 to be safe. Then all the airships, because that's going to counter the troops in the crystal. In this case, it might be different for you. And then behind the airships, I would then recommend doing whatever troop. Oh, here we go. Let me pause this in the right spot. I would recommend doing whatever troop will. Oh, I lost train of thought, guys. 1 second. Okay, so after the airships, fill up your rally with whatever troop you have the most buffs for. So if you have more gems for mages, or you have a Luna who's buffed more on mages, fill the rest of your rally with as many mages as you can. Actually, let me rewind. Airships, then T6, the highest tier troop, and then for your lowest tier troop that you're filling the rally with, have that be the specific troop type that your hero buffs the most. In my case, it's mages, because I have Luna, and I have her up, I think, 300% mage attack bonus for Luna. And I also have some extra gems for mages. So here's their crystal, guys. They've got 64,000 crowns, about 25,000 Frost Guardians. So the benefit to the Frost Guardians is their armor penetration immune, but even with that, they aren't as good as the crowns. Even with the armor pen, because they're a lower tier, so they have slightly less health. In this case, I'm thinking they might have been better off if they pulled their Frost. Then they'd have 63,000. Now, of course, it goes back to what I said earlier. You want to have more than for RvRs. You want to just really stack it, because you don't want to have to keep teleporting back. Since I'm in this realm, I have the advantage of being able to reinforce at any time. They don't have that advantage, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna hate on them for having more than they need. But I think these Frost Guardians, it's an advantage for us, because they're gonna die quicker than the Crown Guards. And if we are only sending Crown Guards in our rally, we're gonna have an advantage there. Now, it may not make up for all our other disadvantages, but every little edge you can get, if you can take it, guys. So on top of that, they've got, pretty solid. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, you can add up that's a lot of samurai warriors. That's a lot. They got the Genbu and the all the clan warriors, and they got 461 destroyers and an annihilator. Now, one thing you'll notice, guys, that they did really well is they have 90,000 clan cavalry, and that's pretty good, guys, because I'm coming in with mages, because that's what I buff the most. And for a second, I thought about sending more warriors in the rally, but I figured, well, it's close enough that there's just like 40,000 more clan cavalry, so it's enough to make me think about sending more warriors in my march, but it's not enough overall percentage of the troops in the crystal to make up the difference for how much my mages are buffed. Coming from my side of the things. So let's keep going. They have a decent amount of commanders, not too many higher level ones. So in our marches, we do end up getting, we get an R4, and I send all my R3s as well in my rally. So let's speed this up. Hopefully we can get to the point that we can stop it when we can see what's in the rally here. Okay, I actually end up resetting it, so we can actually rewind it and see what I put in it. just for the record, I was probably making sure I had my march size boost, and yeah, the rally march size boost. I popped this, gives me another 5,000 troops and another 20,000 rally capacity. Now the downside, guys, and you got to make sure all the reinforcements to your rally or to the crystal are there before that boost is up. Because the second that boost is up, any troops that's going to make you over the capacity is going to be turned around. And I've seen that happen. This rally boost, it also works if you control the crystal. If you pop that boost, you can get more troops in the crystal. Now, you got to make sure the troops get there before the boost is done. Otherwise, like I said, it will turn them around. So I pretty much stacked this with everything I can. 60,000 total march size with that rally boost. And, you know, one thing, what monster do you send here? I think I might have made a mistake with the armor penetration. Now, this is my favorite monster at the moment. It's so good on the crystals. It's really good at everything, guys. That armor pen. Now, the one reason it may not be perfect here is they do have some Frost Guardians. And so they got, 25,000 Frost Guardians. And they got 60,000 crowns. So they're basically a quarter of their guardians are frost. So that means that armor pen is only working on 3/4 of the troops it can work on. So maybe I could have done an attack here. I don't have, my monsters aren't perfect. I need to get a better monster. My best monster, I have 125% attack boost one, the Goblin, and I have the Iron Giant, the 75/75 one. He might have been better here. I decided to do the armor pen just because it's so effective. And it's really effective if there aren't Frost Guardians in the crystal. In my experience, it is the best one. So, here we go. We've got people joining. Yeah, so let's do it. 15 minutes, guys. And my rally capacity, I think it's like 412,000 total, which is decent. I've been upgrading that as much as I can. Pretty much the first thing I do if it's an option is upgrade my rally capacity, because I'm typically the one in our guild leading the crystal battles. So it's important for me to have the highest capacity possible for the crystal rallies. So let's see what we end up getting here. We get, I should do a little better job pausing this, huh? Well, I'll look at it again, I'm sure. So here we've got 52,000 level 4 mages, so it's not ideal. Ideally you get level 5 and 6, but the thing is, for some reason, and it must be his buffs, I don't know, but Tropic Dragon's troops are way stronger than they should be. Like, I swear, and a lot of it's his march size, but he like defies all common sense in this game, and he's really close to T5, so I can't wait for this. But for whatever reason, his troops just kill a ton. So it must be his upgrades, it must be his buffs. He must have some secret. I trust his level 4 mages over most people's level 5 troops. And I knew we weren't going to have enough to fill the rally without his troops anyway. So it's better to have level 4 troops in your rally than no troops, right? So, it's all good. And as long as there's enough guardians that the level 4 troops don't die, it's totally fine. So here we've got 15,500 Crowns guards and really good troops behind it. Awesome. That's a really cool person, really cool chick we recruited. Happy she stepped up because we needed all the help we can get here. And yeah, so oh, here's Curran's troops. So he sent 5,000 crowns, some destroyers, and look at that. This is awesome, guys. 41,000 clan mages, and my troops, my hero and gear buff mages the most. So that was perfect. Curran hooked us up with the ideal march, really. Like, this is the ideal march. If everybody sent that same thing, oh man, it'd be easy victory. So let's see what else we get here. So you notice some of these times are greater than 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to speed them up to get there before my rally's done. Riot sent a good march, frigates, mages, and airships. Again, this is perfect. Mages are buffed the most with my Luna, so perfect. It's all about getting the right troops in your rallies, guys. Fast forward just a little bit. So let's see. We'll go back over this real quick. Oh, maybe not. It's tough to remember what you did. So I'm pretty sure Shield had sent mostly mages and mostly level 5 troops. Maybe some warriors too, actually, thinking back. So let's fast forward. I end up having to repop this rally and march size boost because we don't have enough speed ups to get them there in time. And as long as you reopen it before the time's up, you're fine. I just go ahead and pop, like, I don't think these do anything, but in the off chance that they do something, I just popped them anyway because I don't use them anyway, the defense boost. So yeah, let's keep going here. So right here I reopen that march size, and yeah, so, and I had to recruit somebody else. I had to recruit Big Fish. Thanks for joining, Big Fish. We didn't have enough to fill the rally, and I figured this is a rally we have to fill if we're going to have any chance of winning. So luckily he stepped up, he teleported in, joined our guild just for the rally. And he sent decent troops again, mostly mages, mostly T5 mages, and maybe some warriors and some airships. So we've got a pretty good march. I don't think we could have done much better than this. I mean, we could have recruited some more people with samurai mages and more people with frigates. If we needed to, we could still do that. You don't want to go too crazy trying to recapture the crystal, right? So launch this off. Yeah, it's going to take a while, so let's just fast forward through this. Once it gets about 15 minutes away, I'm going to pop every single boost I have. I pop my mercenary attack, 100% mercenary attack buff. I pop needles. I switch from my HP buff to an attack troop buff. I prefer the attack buffs for crystal battles, especially if you have guardians. For whatever reason, I think the attack buffs do better because it buffs a greater percentage of your troops, right? Well, it'll buff all your troops, but the guardian's attack is so small that it doesn't. An attack buff on a tier 1 troop isn't that great, but the 38,000 troops behind that, the guardians, will all get the attack buff and all benefit greatly from an attack buff. That's why I do attack buffs. Let's keep fast forwarding here. Really, these guys are really cool in this guild. They're probably the guild that has the crystal right now. They're probably certainly in our server, they are the biggest badasses around. I mean, there's only 2 of them in the crystal, guys. Imagine if they had more guildmates in and they replaced, because they have plenty of other strong guildmates. If they wanted to, I'm sure they could have got more people to teleport in and replace their T5 with Sam Mercs. But because it's an RvR, And you know, it's not always an option, right? Like, not everybody is on at the same time, and not everybody uses RvR ports. So let's just skip ahead here. Yeah, so my hat's off to Trackhawk and the other big baller there, because two of them, man, they're killing it. They're killing it. So, oh, there it showed what Tropic had. Let me rewind it. I don't think I caught that. So he has, oh, actually, never mind, guys. Thinking big fish. Oh, too far, too far. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I was looking at old reports. That's what it is. I was going to say, wow, March should still be going. So here's 15 minutes. We're 15 minutes away. This is where I'll start popping my 15-minute boost. And still using boost here. I end up, now here's another thing, guys. Some of you know this, some of you don't. If you have targets marked, your airships do greater damage to their guardians. Now, I don't know if it works for troops in the crystal, but I do it anyway, right? Why risk? You know, there's no reason to not do something like marking the enemy targets if you have the marks to potentially get the buff. So I marked the two people who have troops in the crystal. Actually, I have to unmark this master links and mark Trackhawk. I marked him by accident. He's another level 50 with 101 Luna. Same guild, guys. These guys are such ballers. This is an old realm, level 50 in old realm. This is a pretty new realm still, like maybe 5 months. So level 50 is no joke. It's no joke. It's completely badass. That's what it is. So yeah, I'm in an older realm too, a realm months older than this, and that realm doesn't even have many 50s. So the fact that these guys have two 50s and a 48 in their guild is crazy. Really is. Alright, so let's speed this up some more. Here's what they have again. Alright, so here we're 10 seconds out. What do you think's going to happen, guys? Do we have enough? We've got some level 4 troops in there, but we've also got good troop composition. And we got it, guys. We did it. Boom. We captured it. It was pretty darn close. We'll show you guys here. Oh, we popped all our needles too. Yeah, so it was pretty close, guys. We lost pretty much exactly what I imagined we'd have to lose, or imagined we'd lose, 15,000 Guardians. So my thought process was pretty accurate there. So 20,000 would have been, you know, really safe, really perfect. And we killed 17 and a half. Now, sadly, you can't see what we killed because the way the troop reports are, since they had so many marches each, we didn't kill any in the marches it displayed, but we could see what we lost anyway. And a couple of people lost some crowns. Well, everybody that had crowns in the march lost some. But there it is, guys. So in this case, there isn't too much rush to divvy out the titles. Yeah, there's really not much rush. I'd go ahead and title this guy because I'm afraid he's going to teleport out and start attacking things. So, so I go ahead and give him a buff, a debuff. But there isn't much rush because if they want to take this crystal back, they're going to have to rally it. Right? You're not going to be able to solo march it with all our troops in there. So I'd wait for them to set the rally, see who joins the rally, and then debuff them then. So that's what I would go for. And you can go ahead and pull some of the the lower level marches, now that we have the crystal, you can reinforce it with as many reinforcements as you have marches. So we get the tier 4 troops to pull out. A couple of people leave the guild to go back to their guilds. So I reinforce with a more even, more balanced troop composition. One thing I will say, guys, and I highly recommend this, is if you're sending multiple marches into the crystal, so multiple reinforcing marches, I would set them with different troop amounts. So maybe in one of your marches have, so my max march is 50,000. Maybe in one send 49,999, in one send 49,998, and you know, write down or remember what is in each march, and that way you can pull that march if you want to, and you know what march you're pulling. Because if you reinforce them all with your max capacity, when you go to pull the march, there's no way to tell what troops are in what march. So you're going to end up potentially pulling a march that you don't want to pull, and then have to speed it back to you. This is mainly for once the rally is coming towards you. You can reorganize your troops to reorganize your troops in the crystal to be strong against what they're rallying you with. And it's really difficult to do that if you don't know what march you're pulling from the crystal. So I would, it doesn't hurt, you know, I get it takes work, but if you write down, okay, this march is the march with all my guardians in it, and it has this many troops. This march is all my cavalry, for instance. This march is all my tier 5 cavalry, and have a specific number of troops in that you can remember it. And this is the one with all my really powerful tier 6 mercs, have this many troops in it. And then remember, and each time you are, well, once you get attacked a few times, you might start losing track of it again, or you'll have to kind of work through it, you know, work out based on what the crystal says is in it, which troop is which one. So there's that, guys. Highly recommend that. It's a trick I've learned over the past couple weeks. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. There you have it. Pretty awesome RvR. Pretty eventful. Good luck, guys. Drone B out.